So that's more awesome session. That we're just off the back of one with Sancho Harker, which honestly has blown my mind. The things that you don't think about within accessibility, I mean, accessibility really should be sort of by design rather than as an afterthought. And just some of the things that he was able to show us in that session, just even down to the T where he had the closed captions in our font and colour and style. It was just unbelievable. That session blew my mind.
It's crazy, definitely crazy. Like we gave our font to the speakers, etc., so that they could update some of their slide decks, and he's taken that to a whole other level. And we know we can tick some boxes. We're not going to get there 100% of the way, but he's just shown how much further and how easy it can be to make small changes to take it massively and make a big impact.
So with that being said, we have somebody on to talk a little bit more about accessibility. So I'd like to introduce Dona Sarkar, who is going to be the host of Microsoft Ignite in a couple of days.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on Scottish Summit. I am in fact crashing, but whatever. People expect that from me. By the way, Sancho's talks are always the best. Are they not the best? First of all, they're super informative. I always learn things I never knew about, like cool templates, how to make things accessible. But his presentations are also just beautiful. Just to look at the colors, the fonts, the animations, they're just gorgeous. And, you know, if Sancho ever wants a side gig of making beautiful presentations, he can make like $1 billion, because our presentations are mostly crap. Like, no offense to all of you, they're mostly crap compared to Sancho's. Mine are horrible. I won't even go after Sancho. So if you haven't seen Sancho's, go see it, because you will learn a lot. So I'm crashing to talk about accessibility a little bit. And the reason that I am interrupting your show with this is because I don't believe that accessibility is for disabled people. No. There are disabled people, neurodivergent people, and then people who, you know, neurotypical, whatever. Accessibility benefits everyone. It benefits every single person. It is not just for disabled people. So I'll give you a real life example from just my experience 2 weeks ago. I spent 4 months in Barbados. I know, poor me, sun, tropical. Where my house was located was at the end of this park. And at the beginning of the park, there's a big, wide wheelchair ramp. Barbados is an island that doesn't have that much road infrastructure that's very advanced. So I was really interested in seeing there's this humongous, wide wheelchair ramp right there in this park. And right next to it are a set of stairs. And I thought, oh, that's nice. This place is wheelchair accessible. It must be really, really good for people in wheelchairs to be able to use. And you know what was really interesting? I saw nobody with a wheelchair using it, but I saw hundreds, and I am not kidding, hundreds of people pushing baby carriages, of people carrying huge boxes, of people who, you know, were a little bit older, people pushing groceries in carts. I saw them all using the ramp. And on the last day when I was leaving, I had 3 humongous suitcases of fabric for my fashion line. And guess what I used? The ramp. So while we may design something for disabled people, it actually benefits everyone. It benefited hundreds of people that I saw myself. That means it's probably benefited millions of people that I do not see. So when we think about building products, we should keep in mind that, yes, this will impact, you know, the billion plus people, small number of people on the planet who are visibly disabled, but it will in fact benefit probably every single person who touches your product in some way or the other. So I'll give you 3 real life tech examples that I have heard about recently or participated in recently. First one, I would love to deep dive into at Ignite next week. March 2nd and 3rd, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be co-hosting Ignite. And on the main hero screen, I will be interviewing a really, really cool dude named Paul Burns. Paul is someone who recently had a stroke, and he survived it. He's thriving now, but he had to teach himself to really learn how to write, how to handwrite. And he built a Power App to do this. So what this Power App does is it helps him handwrite, like, here's a circle, here's a bigger circle, here's a smaller circle. So he's working on his dexterity and hand-eye coordination and all of these things using a Power App. The Power App's able to tell him when his accuracy is higher or lower. And I thought that was such a fascinating thing, because he's using this technology that we use all the time, which is Power Apps, but he's implemented handwriting recognition, which I didn't even know you could do. but to also solve his own specific unique problem. But when we started thinking about it, we're like, this is actually really useful for all sorts of things. I have been trying to learn Japanese for about 10 years, and I cannot write the characters at all. Mine all look stupid. They look absolutely foolish. None of my characters say anything. I would love to be able to have this in Japanese so I can actually practice my handwriting, and the app is able to tell me, Donna, you're vaguely accurate or you're completely wrong. So for me, who is not a stroke survivor, who does not speak Japanese, this app would be super, super helpful. Same thing for, younger people who are learning to write for the first time in their own native language. It would help in so many ways. Or someone maybe learning to draw. They want to learn to draw better. So many use cases. So while he may have built it for a disabled person, or a survivor of, this horrible thing that's happened, it actually benefits so many people. So that's Paul. Second person I'll be interviewing is Connell Mckinley, and he found me on Twitter, and told me an interesting story. He works to help people adopt tech in their organizations and companies. He is deaf, and before COVID and before a time of all meetings being virtual, he actually couldn't participate in customer acquisition meetings because he's deaf. There's a lot of quick talking, a lot of like in-person engagement. So he wasn't able to keep up with the conversation. But because of COVID, because of pandemic, all of our meetings are like this, face-to-face or via a screen. He's able to turn on captions in Teams, auto captions, and be able to understand what everybody is saying. It's not 100%. Again, it's not 100%, but it's definitely way more than zero. So he's able to not just participate in customer meetings, but now lead them. So he'll be detailing his story along with doing a demo for us at Ignite next week. Both Paul and Connell would be there showing their setups. The third story I'd like to share is my own. So when I was 32 years old, a long time ago, I went to get my eyes checked. I realized things are fuzzy. Do I need glasses? What's happening? So I went to get my eyes checked. And, eye chart, doctor shows up the eye chart thing. They're like, read these letters. And I'm sitting way back. And I'm like, D, Q, E, V, something. And he says, nope, those are all wrong. So he puts a stronger lens on me. And I'm like, that lens is strong. He's like, okay, read them now. I'm like, D, Q, E. Oh, they changed. K, M, V. He's like, these are still wrong. I can't believe your prescription's so bad. He puts a stronger lens on me. And I'm like, dude, I can't even see it now. It's so intense and I'm getting this headache. And his assistant, who is there in the room, just looks at me and says, do you think you're maybe dyslexic? And I said, I don't know what that means, but I'm not that. To me, dyslexia is something that little kids have. Kids with learning disorders, kids who are not good at reading and are good at math and are disruptive in class. Like these are all the stereotypes you hear, right, of dyslexic children. Like Tom Cruise is dyslexic. I don't know. I knew nothing about this. I thought, no, I'm not dyslexic. Are you insane? And she said, my child has the exact same problem you do. They can see the eye chart. They can't read the eye chart. And we have him tested for dyslexia, and turns out he is dyslexic. So you might want to go get a test. And I finally got my eyeglasses and I left, but it stayed with me. Just like, why couldn't I read that eye chart? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. So I wound up seeing a specialist and I got diagnosed. And yes, I am dyslexic. I did not like this. I hid it. I'm like, I don't want my boss to know. I don't want my company to know. People are going to think I'm stupid. I'm an author. How am I dyslexic? Am I a moron? It was a really challenging thing because I'm like, I've been a tech leader for 15 years. How can I be dyslexic? How did I not know that? But I studied doing more research and all of these things on it, and started talking to more dyslexic people and realized it is so common. I think like 1 in 5 people in the world are dyslexic in some way or the other. And of course, there's a spectrum like everything. For me, it's letters and numbers together will mess me up. So I can just be reading normal letters. If there's no stress, nothing anxiety causing, I can read fine. If there's letters and numbers together, like flight numbers, like DL 2080, I will mess that up. I will mess up all those numbers. So the number of times I'm at the wrong gate, hundreds of times that's happened. And I didn't realize why. I thought, oh my God, they've all changed the gates again. Why are they changing the gates all the time? So that was my diagnosis. And as of conferences, this thing comes back. In general, it does not affect me on a day-to-day basis, because how much letters and numbers reading do I really do? Especially capital letters, which what really throws me. But at conferences, I get really, really messed up. And here's why. Because there's a teleprompter. And teleprompters are all written in big capital letters. They're behind the camera. They're a little far away. There's a lot of eyes on me. There's a giant shiny light here. It's terrifying. My heart starts pounding. I'd start sweating, and I'm like, oh no, a teleprompter. Can I just memorize this? They're like, it's maybe 700 lines, Donna. You're really going to memorize it? So I had to come up with a hack. And here's what I did last year. All of the lines we get for events, like introducing people or like going to commercial or whatever, it's all written inside the sign sheet. So they write out the script for us, and the script is fed into the teleprompter using this tool called Run something, I can't remember. But the back end of the tool is, guess what? It's just Excel. So it's a giant Excel spreadsheet. It's cell 1, it says Donna. Cell 2, it says time. And then it has all my lines in there. Feeds them into the teleprompter, and then I'm supposed to read it from there. So I'm like, I know this is a job for Power Apps. So I got it's called Rundown Creator. That's the app. So I got access to Rundown Creator. I took all of the Excel spreadsheet and just said, all right, I'm taking this. Is this the final script? Final. They were like, yeah. So I took the Excel spreadsheet and made myself a super sketchy, janky Canvas app. Okay, this is not a good Canvas app. I won't even show people because it's so ugly. And all it does is just show me my lines in one block at a time. And that's it. So they're like, they just yell it out. They're like, segment 1, Donna. I'm like, cool, bring up segment 1. I look at it. I'm like, okay, this is what it says. And then I know what's coming. So it's not a big shock. So I don't read from my phone, but I have a really good idea of what's coming. And we've managed to break up the segments so I can actually remember them and say them, even if I can't read them completely. This has completely changed the game for me when it comes to hosting conferences. At MBAS last year, it was a disaster. Build was kind of a disaster. Ignite was pretty good because I had this Power Apps hack. And, yep, I have my shitty Power App again, and I'm going to be using it to read my lines at Ignite. So
that's awesome.
While
we're totally going to be. Oh, sorry.
So Power Apps was not built for disabled people, but they help everyone in the world, including disabled people, neurodivergent, whatever we want to call it, like me. So that's my 2 cents on accessibility. When you think about accessibility, don't think about building only for disabled people. Think about the fact that it's going to help everyone in the world who uses your products in some way or the other. So there's a ton of amazing sessions on this accessibility track. There are 10 sessions at Scottish Summit. That's a lot. Please do be checking them out. Some that I know I'm going to be checking out for sure in replay is Iain's session on how to build accessible Canvas apps. That one is deeply personal to me because my Canvas app that's horrible is not accessible at all. Another one that's very good, I've seen it, is Rory Preddy's Programming for Accessibility. It's for how you as a developer can be building products that other creators of technology can be using, but also all consumers of your tech. And then the third one that you should check out, it's right after this, is Anuradha Kumar's session on accessible websites. If you think it's JavaScript that's making your website not accessible, it ain't JavaScript, it's you. So stay tuned for these sessions. Please enjoy Scottish Summit. I'll see you next week at Ignite.